Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Faith Flaws y Mas. I'm Sylvia.
I'm Priscilla.
I'm Ashley.
And it's been a minute, but we are happy to be back together. This episode, we're going to bring up some topics that people sent us. I posted on Instagram on our stories if you had any topic ideas or if there were anything you would like for us to talk about. And one of the topics we looked at and we were like, oh, maybe we'll do that one first. It's motherhood. Talk about more about motherhood and keeping the spark after becoming a mom. So let's talk about it. So sometimes I think about like how my mom was as a mom. Like sometimes I think about like, did my mom struggle the way I'm struggling right now?
What do you mean? Like you're struggling in what?
And struggling because sometimes I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard. We got so much going on.
Okay.
I got to come home and cook and clean. I got to do this. I got to do that. But like, I want to sit down for 5 minutes and like watch my trash TV, but I can't because then if I do, that sometimes I think I'm like, did my mom ever deal with that? Like, did she ever have those?
Were you guys like
problems?
in sports or anything like that?
No.
I think that makes a huge difference.
I would have to assume that she did. You
Yeah.
know? Like just in her own way, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I'm like, now I know why my mom was always mad. Like she always had a headache. And now, like, I feel like every day I'm like, I have a headache.
You're just saying right now.
Yeah.
I'm getting a headache.
Yeah, I was like, I think a headache is coming up, coming on.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think so, like somewhat.
Yeah.
But then everyone handles things differently.
Differently.
So.
Yeah.
Because now that I think of now I think about like, did she ever wonder that? And then when I see her now, I'm like, but she got it all together. Like, how did she deal with that?
All
like
the years.
all those years.
You'll have it all together
At
at her age.
at one point, I was like,
Yeah,
she has
when
it all
you're-
together. She knows how to like make a big meal out of nothing, and like she
Yeah.
knows how to do that. But because like for me growing up, we always had home cooked meals. Like not that it was big meals, but if it was just beans and eggs, we had that. That was home cooked food. We never like went out to eat. But me, I'm all like texting looked. I didn't leave nothing out tonight.
I forgot to take the
He's
chicken
like,
out.
what do you
Me
want?
too. I'm like,
Chick-fil-A or something?
I'm sorry. I didn't take the meat out the freezer this morning when I was supposed to. We got frozen meat, and I was supposed to make burgers.
Oh.
So I was like, the meat's not gonna be soft enough.
What we
Chick-fil-A.
doing?
Low key, you forget on purpose.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm rushing. I'm like, oh,
I
dang,
ain't
I
taking
forgot. But no, I think when I think about that, I'm like, man, we all have different struggles. Like we all have different like things that we deal with.
I mean, sometimes I see moms and I'm like, man, like how do they, to me, like from the outside, I look at them, I'm like, man, they look like they just have it together.
All together.
And me, I'm over here missing an earring and like I just feel like I don't have it all together. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but I mean, I guess everyone doesn't. Also, I think it makes a difference. Like with me, when I'm tired, like I show it. Like, like you can look at me and say, "That girl's had a day," right? Or someone else just carries it differently.
Yeah.
Like they hide it. So
Yeah. I feel like nobody has it all together. You know?
Because I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm not the best mom, Like I'm not giving my 100% to each kid. Like maybe this kid this week has a lot going on, so we're doing like lately we've been giving Victoria a lot of attention, and it's because she's been playing soccer since like summer last year. She's been nonstop playing, so we like have like our days where we're like, okay, Tuesdays we're here. And then they just started Wednesdays. They started skill training. So before we went life group, like Milton took her to her little skills training first, and then all this. And so like every day it's something except like 2 or 3 days out of the week.
Yeah.
And it's like we've been giving her a lot of attention, and then I feel like the other two are just like, okay, well, I guess we got to deal with it. And I'm like, dang, I feel bad for them because they're just like we're just stringing them along with us,
Yeah.
And we're giving her all of our attention, and like time and money.
yeah.
And it's like the other two are just like, we're here.
Just happy to be here.
Does Yossi play soccer?
He's starting this spring too, but like we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Right now, so far, we're like, he's okay. You don't need this right now. Or we got time. But for her, we're like, well, we got to do this. We got to do that. But I feel like hers is more serious because everything is more like organized and timely thing.
Yeah.
So you got to like do your part. And then for him, we're more like, Milton doesn't like them to miss practice, but sometimes we're like, all right, well, he's gonna have to miss, you know,
Yeah.
because Victoria has this.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's not fair.
I mean, I think what you were saying is right. Like every child's gonna have more attention depending on what they're doing in that season, right? But I also think it's really important. Like if she loves soccer, and that's, I mean, do you think that she's gonna grow up and continue it through like school?
I don't. I would hope for her to do that, but I don't think like she's there right now. Like she's still in like the developmental stages of it, and she's learning to love it and to like it, and she's learning. She's learning to see herself do things, and she's like, oh, if I could continue to do that, then I'll get better at this, you know. So I hope that she gets to that, but yeah. It's just more right now. She has more opportunities, so that's why we're like
Yeah.
more into it. But then also I was thinking right now that you said that, I was thinking during football season, Bella has all of our attention.
Yeah.
Like that's
For
nonstop
band,
band every day, like every day, even on the weekends and like
Yeah.
late nights, early mornings. I guess the
yeah,
one
and
that's
that's
struggling
busy.
is
Like band is busy.
Yossi. Yossi don't have nothing.
What'd you say?
And then the one that's struggling is Yossi. He don't have nothing. He just follows us. He's like, okay.
So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it
It's
sounds
hard.
like it's like seasonal, you know?
Yeah.
Like this right now it's, you know, Vicky, and then it's, you know, Bella in the football season. You know? And then you'll see like maybe just help him find what he like something that he likes to do. You
Yeah.
know?
But
Maybe
it's
that won't
fun.
even be sports, you know, like whatever his interests are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just hard to be like split in three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just hard to be like a mom to all three of these and figure out everything that's going on with everything, even like school assignments and stuff. And then you have your husband on the side and he's like, yoo-hoo. He's like, yoo-hoo.
Big summer blowout.
I can't.
And you're like, oh yeah.
Hey, you want to go talk?
It's hard.
Yeah, and I think we just have to remember like we have to prioritize our husbands and our wives before the kids. You know? I mean, I know that's hard, but I think we just have to keep redirecting our minds and our thoughts to there. Like God first, then it's your wife or husband, and then it's the kids. You know?
I think a lot of I hear a lot of women like who are in the world, I guess you could say, that they always say, my kids come first, my
Yeah.
kids come
And
first. And like I kind of had that mentality for a little bit, but then I was like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's not true. Because then I would hear their stories and situations. I was like, but then your husband, what about your husband? But then like now I'm like, yeah, no, if me and my husband aren't doing well, then my kids are not going to be doing
Yeah.
well. It was funny because the other day, something had happened at home, and then Victoria had asked Milton, like, why do you say that? Like, why did you say that? And he was like, because I care about my wife and before you guys or something like that. And she was like, why? She was just like questioning him.
Yeah.
And he's like, because, and then he did like I remember him going like moving his hands like, because first is God. I put God before all of y'all. And then he goes, then it's me and your mom. And if me and your mom are not cool, if I'm not being cool, like we're not together, if we're arguing all the time, y'all are gonna be mad all the time. I don't know exactly how he said it, but like, well,
He made
you're
it
not
make
gonna
sense.
be, yeah. And he's like, so if me and your mom are fine or whatever. And then she was all like, yeah, because y'all are being romantic. Or like, y'all are, you know, she always says like, she was like, no, Yossi's like, romantico.
Oh my goodness.
And like, y'all are always hugging and kissing. And then she was like, and if he was like, we're not there, then y'all aren't fine. He's like, don't you want to have happy parents? And she was like, yes. She's like, I was just asking, you know.
We literally had to have that same conversation with Selena. She asked us the other day, why do y'all have more date nights than me and you? Like to Noel.
Oh.
And he's like, he had to say that, you know, like, because that, you know, me and mommy I have to prioritize her before y'all, you know. Same like God to your spouse, and then y'all come after that.
Yeah.
But it makes sense, like how you said, how Milton said it. Like, it's like they see affectionate from their mom and dad. They see them being affectionate. It's like, and they're like, you know how you said like, y'all always doing this and that. It's like, y'all want us to be punching each other
Yes.
or something like.
No, Bella, what did Bella
want us
say
to be
when?
fighting?
Yeah, Bella has said, she's like, gosh, we should say my parents are loving towards each other, and I come from a home that shows love and affection. Ugh.
I
She did
know.
something like that, and I was just like, sorry.
That's
I
so
could see
funny.
Bella doing that.
Yeah, she
Same
was just
Yeah.
like, ugh. Like, she's like, ugh. And I was like, you
Yeah,
can see
that's
something else if you want. And she was like, no,
no thanks.
no thanks. Yeah. No, but it is important to like keep that together, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are we doing it though? Like, it's important, but what are some like steps we can take to make sure we're keeping the spark alive? So I think whenever you have a baby, if you have a baby, like a newborn, that part is tough. I think we have to be like remembering that season when the girls were small, or even when Aurora was a baby and then Emmy was like 4. Um, you have to kind of be okay with not being at the same level like you and your husband, like, oh, you know, because you know at that time your baby needs almost all your attention. So in that season, just making sure like if you're not, I think making sure you're communicating, and I think if your communication is at least good, then your relationship will be good, right?
I think if I can go back and fix things in my marriage then when they were little or when it was like the newborn stage, I wish I would have communicated better to him to be like, I feel like if I would have said something back then in the early stages and had that communication from the beginning,
Yeah.
I think our relationship would have been better in the long run. Like if I would have been like, hey, you know what? Can you help me do this? Or like, because I think at that point in my marriage, I felt like I was doing everything with the kids. Like I was bathing them, I was making their bottles, I was putting them to bed, I was changing the diaper, I was getting up with them at night,
Yeah.
and I didn't say nothing. You know, and I feel like, and then I put like resentment in me towards him, and then that put some problems in our marriage, and then like it didn't come out till later, and it's like if I would have said something then, fixed it then,
Yeah.
that would have made things better for the long run. So I feel like if anyone is in like that stage right now where like their kids are babies and like they feel like they're not having their partner or spouse isn't helping them, or they're having issues in their relationship because of the situation that they're at right now with the newborn, with the kids, like talk now. Say something now.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Communication is literally the key to everything.
Yes.
And I think that's also, it shows how important God is also in a marriage. Because if we were to go into marriage, even relationships, how the Bible tells us to, like, he literally gives you the blueprint, like how to live life, how to have a marriage, how to speak. Like husbands, be vulnerable with your wives, speak to them, you know. Women, we need to respect our husbands, you know, like you know, I just think God is so important. And our marriages could start off on a solid foundation on God's word if we would follow God first, you know,
Yeah.
and put him at the center of your marriage. Because I
Yes.
feel like if you start marriage, or for me, we started off our marriage and God was not at the center, and we went through a lot of stuff. And it wasn't until we finally put God in the center, then it's like everything just started falling into place and being how it was supposed to be from the beginning. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I feel like that would like make a lot of sense. Cause now like when things happen that I don't like it, or if I feel hurt, like I say something and I'll be like, I didn't like that, or you hurt my feelings or something like that. And then like it gets fixed right then and there. Like, I think that makes him realize like, okay, wait, maybe I did say something like out of
Yeah.
character, or maybe I shouldn't have said that because I'm mad about something else and I'm putting it on her. And then he fixes it, and then he's like, babe, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or like he'll come to me later, he'll be like, babe, I love you so much. I didn't mean to hurt you, or like, you know, I'm sorry you felt like that. If I would have had that from the beginning, man, I probably would have had 10 more kids. No, but I'm
I
just
think
saying.
it also, like how you said, like it matters also like how we approach them.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to be disrespectful when we do tell them these things. Like, because I mean, for me, I would in the beginning, I would have been like, "Don't be talking to me like that. Like, who you think? Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like who you think you're talking to like that? Like, you know,
Yeah.
like rather than
I've said
I
things
really
like, you
hurt.
ain't my daddy.
exactly like I got a daddy. I don't need you to be my
Ray would,
Yeah.
like,
Ray would have been like, yes, I am.
No, but yeah.
yeah, you know, like I had a whole attitude back then. I mean, I could still have attitude, but I know how to approach
catch
my
yourself
husband
now.
You know, like
Yeah.
there's a difference between that, like, you ain't my daddy, don't talk to me like that, or it's like, you really hurt my feelings when you did this, like, you know, like just telling them the honesty, but in a gentle and loving way, in a respectful way.
Yeah.
Because that's what our husbands need from us, you know?
Like for them to also know, and like for us, that we're not enemies.
Yeah.
Like we're not enemies. We're on the same team.
Yeah.
We're on the same team. We're trying to get the same thing.
Yeah. And I felt like we were like enemies, you know? Like, or we weren't on the same team, at least. We wasn't on the same team. Because it's like, you do something to me, I'm going to do something
10 times
worse to you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, or you talk to me like this, I'm going to talk to you like that. You got an attitude, I'm going to have an attitude. You in a bad mood? Oh, I can be in a worse mood. You know?
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
it's
so
always
true.
like, it was always like,
Yeah.
Tit for tat.
yeah.
That's true.
And then I think like what you're saying is right, but I think to my time, you know what, like we were in our 20s. Even if I just don't know if I would have, how do I say it? Like I don't know even then if I would have if I came to him in a right way, like, hey, you know, this and this is bothering me, would he have even like took it correctly? Because they're like, back then we knew God, but we didn't have him in our lives. We weren't putting God first. So even if I would have went to him like, hey, this is bothering me, I don't think he would have been like, okay, well, I'm so sorry. He would have, even me, I wouldn't, if he came to me telling me, you're not doing this, or, you know, I want this differently, whatever the case is, I probably wouldn't have taken it right.
Yeah.
Because I just had an attitude.
You wouldn't have the tools at that point to react that way.
I didn't know to put God first. I didn't know to communicate. I don't even think me and Ray had great communication at all. Like, that's not something that my parents showed me. That's not something I ever just saw in a household at all. So we had to learn that. And how do we learn that? Through church, through counseling, through going through things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even
That's
though
true.
there's some people I'm sure that had that, so they know
Yeah.
to put God first and everything just falls perfectly. But if you weren't raised like that, if you never saw it, you weren't. I just don't see how that could happen if you don't have God first, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
I don't know if that made sense.
No, it does, because it's true. Because I feel like I was just thinking about me back then. If I would have reacted the way I'm telling myself to react then, I don't think he would have reacted that way. He would have been like,
This is weird.
too bad. Or like, okay, what you want me to do about it? Like, that's how you feel. Something like that.
I'm
Let's
sorry
say he was,
you feel like that.
yeah, like not to say that he was evil or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I don't think he would have.
At that
No.
level, spiritually.
And I do remember my mom occasionally, and I'm assuming she told me these things because she kind of learned through her marriage, right? She would be like, you know, you should respect Ray more. You shouldn't talk to him like that. Like, you should cook for him more. Things like that. I'm like, Mom, we're not in that day and age anymore. Like, I don't know. Like, and I just saw it as like, no, I don't need to be cooking for him all the time, or no, I can talk to him however I want. Like, if he's not making me happy or meeting my expectations, this is how I'm gonna act towards him, right? That was horrible. Now that I think about it, and that's why we had so many problems. Honestly, to be honest, I mean, not all my fault.
Said, honestly.
It's not all my fault, but
we had the problems we had.
he had to talk to me a lot of times, and
You didn't know how to do that.
I didn't care, to be honest. I didn't know, but I also didn't care, because to me, for example, I'll give you like a scenario where he would come home, be like, hey, you know, you're not showing me we're not spending any time together, you're not showing me any affection. And I would be like, pretty sure I have a baby here. Like, this is what my life revolves around. Like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, come home and help me. Then I'll give you more time,
Affection.
right? Yeah, affection. That's how I would think then.
Yeah.
Which is selfish. But yeah, like that wasn't okay. That was my mindset back then. And I was just young and mature. I didn't know better. So.
And you didn't see an example of that, right?
No.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
me-
even thinking about it, it's just embarrassing. I'm like, gosh,
You're like, I'm going to just be quiet.
I need to, yeah.
You're like,
now
"Damn,
I'm
that
so
was
much.
me."
Yeah.
But that's
It's
But it's
embarrassing.
You
true.
see what God's done though. Like,
No, for
you
sure.
know,
I'm not like
like you couldn't
makes me
be
a little
perfect.
emotional thinking about it. Like to
Yeah,
be honest, I'm like,
I know, me
man.
too. Like,
Because when looking at my parents, that my mom was very headstrong. Like it was in our household, it was more my mom running it. I mean, a little bit till this day, but they're getting better. But back then, it was definitely my mom running the show. It was like her way or no way. You're not gonna talk to her like that. Even like me as her daughter, like I was not allowed to be disrespectful to my mom. Um, so I don't know. I guess I brought that to our relationship, and but yeah, God's definitely changed that for sure. God and having good people. Like I feel like even just learning off each other and learning from church and learning from our life group and re-engage in counseling, like that was all helpful.
yeah,
So I think if you're struggling with that, definitely get around people who are going to lead you the right way,
Right.
who are going to give you good advice, who are not going to tell you just leave or whatever the case is, or um, just help you respect one another,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. For me, I feel like growing up, I didn't see conflict get resolved. Like it was just, it's like there was conflict, there was no resolution, like ever, you know. So
Yeah.
that's for me. That's what I've had to learn in marriage. Like, and like for now, it's like I see what God has done, and like now it's like conflict doesn't last long in our house, you know.
Yeah.
Like we can talk about it, and then we can both apologize, whoever's wrong, whatever. Or even if you're not wrong, I'm sorry I did this or whatever, made you feel like this, and then we can pray, and then we can move on with our day. Like, you know, it's not like oh, I'm mad all weekend
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
you know. And then on his part, like he's not running away anymore. Like he used to want to leave, you know. And it's like, so now I think he had to learn, because I think that's what he saw growing up. And for, you know, it's just so it's both ways, right? It's like we
Yeah.
have our thing that we've our experiences and what God has done in our lives, and then on their part, their experiences, what God has done in their lives too. But you have to let God work, you know.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think that now that the like what we saw growing up affects like for me, my mom was kind of like that stronger person in the marriage, but she let my dad lead a lot. So like my dad was the one, like my mom worked too, but her jobs were more like not full-time jobs. She would always make it home early enough to cook. She would be home when we got home from school. She cooked us dinner every day, and then like she was home on the weekends. And then my dad, he would work sometimes 7 days a week. So she was always the one at home. Like I remember her being like, to this day, she's the one that pays all the bills. Like she knows like
Same with my mom.
everything. Like she just knows how my dad puts the money in the account or whatever. She pays the bills, and then yeah, you know, she buys the groceries and everything. She does all that. But my dad was always the head when it came to decision making for us. Like when it came for like decision makings, like to make renovations in the home or like to purchase a car or to do anything, like my dad was the one that made the decisions. And sometimes, now that I think about it, like my dad probably didn't make the best decisions financially, but like she let him lead that way. And so like that's how, and then they did everything. My parents did everything together. My mom didn't drive. So my dad drove us everywhere. He would drive her to go buy groceries. She wouldn't do that by herself. Like my dad would go with us to go buy groceries. If we had doctor's appointments, my dad and my mom went with us to our doctor's appointment because my dad drove us. So we did everything together. And so for in the beginning in my marriage, I wanted to do everything together.
Yeah.
Because I saw my parents do that, everything together. If we went to like if we got invited to birthday parties, we went together as a family. My parents did everything together. So I would want to do that in the beginning of our marriage. And Milton's like, no, like you can go by yourself. You can do that. Like I don't have to go with you. And I would be like, I would get mad about it
Yeah.
because I'm like, no, I want you to
That was
come
your
with me.
expectation.
Yeah, like we're supposed to be a family. Like we're supposed to do things together. Or like if my family invited me something, like my side of the family invited me for something, like he already didn't like I would tell him about it, but in his mind he's like, well, I'm not going, you know, so I don't care. He would already put it out his mind. And then when the date came, we would fight. Like the day of every event we would fight because I would be like, are you not coming? Are you coming? Are you not coming?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to go. No. Why do I have to go? That's your family. Like he would say things like that. And I would make me so mad because I'm like, we are a family. Like we need to do things together. And then like, yeah, it just reminded me of that. Like things are different because he was raised totally different. So that's why he felt like you can do your own thing. I do my own thing. And then like now I'm like, no, but my mom and dad did everything together. Like, why can't we do everything together? But it's okay. We can be separate sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, like I said, it is. And I guess, and I hope and I pray that whatever we're doing and showing our kids now, where we're together all the time, they keep that and put that towards their marriage when they grow up, whenever they get married.
Yeah. I think they will because, I mean, obviously we took a lot from our parents. So I'm sure it's going to trickle down to them.
Victoria said that something today. He's like, when I get married, I'm going to marry a Christian man.
Good.
And I was like, okay. And then I think Milton asked her, like, what does that mean? Like, what does that look for you or something like that? I think he asked her, but I didn't pay attention. I think I was doing something else. But I was just like, okay. All right, we'll see.
So that's good that she actually even saying that.
Yeah.
You know, I've been trying to tell Lena the same thing. Like, you and your brother, I want you to marry, you know, godly men. Oh, you godly man, him a godly woman. Not both of y'all.
Godly people.
I want him to be a godly
people,
man. I want you to be a godly woman. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally had to tell her, explain to her like how the godly path and like a ungodly, thirsty, boy crazy path. You know, because she's been telling me about, you know, she has friends and she tells me about, oh, this girl's boy crazy and she's so little and she has a new boyfriend every week. And
Oh, wow.
I was like, goodness gracious, tell me more.
I better not be my daughter.
No. But I'm just like, okay. And I just had to explain her, like, I don't want you to be that girl. Like, you know, like that girl ends up, or a girl like a person that's boy crazy, or a girl that's boy crazy and just is looking for that and doesn't have God, you know, doesn't follow Jesus. Like she ends up pretty much losing herself.
Yeah.
2 men.
At one point, because her whole life is just all centered around one person and their likes and their interests, and she's not finding herself on her journey, you know? And I'm like, I want you to follow Jesus, because when you follow Jesus and there's another man following Jesus, y'all are going to meet, and then y'all will have like a, you know, a godly marriage and a godly relationship, you know? I just try to tell her, like, that's the kind of person I want you to be.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, do you understand? Like, do you know what I'm saying? You know? She's like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I think she's understanding, but at least I'm telling her. You know, it's like, if it goes in one ear out the other, like, at least I'm letting her know.
Letting her know,
You know? And planting that seed, you know? Just planting the seed, at least.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good that you're telling her and having those open conversations with her, because I think we needed that growing up.
Yes.
And we didn't have it. Sure. I was just like, don't have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Just
don't know why.
Like, no explanation and like, no boyfriend. And then like, oh, have a boyfriend.
Okay, have a boyfriend? Okay.
Yeah. It's just hard.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, whatever is meant to happen is going to happen. But if we can steer and help that the right thing happens, that's the most important part.
Yeah.
Because it's hard.
Yeah, it is. I was going to read these Bible verses.
Go ahead.
They're relevant to keeping the spark with your husband. Genesis 2:24 says, Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. I think you reminded me of that when you're like, we are one. You know, like we're supposed to be. And I don't think that's taught to men or boys growing up. Like, especially like a lot of boys are mama's boys. And the mom, unfortunately, wants to be number one. Right? Some of them don't want their son to put anybody else above them, another woman above them, you know? And it's hard, you know, like you love your son and, you know, they're your baby, they're your little boy, and then they're your baby. I don't know. There's a different, you know, with a daughter and a son.
Yeah.
And then, but it's like we have to, if we're going to follow the Bible, we need to follow the whole Bible. And if that's what the Bible says, then we need to go ahead and plant that seed in their heads too.
Yeah.
And obey God by letting them know, like, one day you're going to have a wife and she's going to come before me. She's going to, even though that's sad and it hurts your heart, you know.
I'd be like, if you want to, though. No, I'm just kidding.
Only if she's a godly woman.
Yeah.
You know, but that's why I think more moms need to teach that to their boys.
Yeah, that's true.
Because then when they do get into a marriage, they won't be, hopefully won't be so disrespectful to the wife or, you know, like, or putting their mom first. And there won't, it probably reduce conflict because they won't have to choose between their mother and their wife. They'll know, okay, my wife comes first,
Yeah.
you know? So I like that.
That was a good one.
That was good, yeah.
Then there's Ephesians 5:25-28. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. That's for the husbands. We're going to skip what it says about the women. Just kidding. And then it's Proverbs 31:10-12. A wife of noble character who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. I like that. It makes you feel like you want to be that kind of wife. You know, it's like, I want my husband to be proud of the wife I am. Like, you know, I think there's a lot in that Proverbs 31, right? Like telling us how to be
the
that
godly woman.
Proverbs 31 woman
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
wife.
That's something I strive to be. I wouldn't consider myself that, but I strive to be that one day, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It says she is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. It's like you want to be the wife that God created you to be to that man, so that he feels like he's not missing anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
So we don't want to be like the nagging wife.
Right.
We don't want to be putting them down. I think a lot of women put their husbands down a lot, and I don't know why. I can't think of it right now. Well, maybe they're not feeling valued in their home, or I don't know. But
They're not letting them lead.
Yeah.
That's
Or-
like what Pastor Josh was saying, like, y'all want to keep like, oh, my husband's not leading or whatever. And then they're like,
Or
okay,
you're not letting him lead.
you're not letting him lead. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
like
Like,
you
you
want to
gotta
be the
have
leader.
control
You want to
over
be the, yeah.
everything. Even if they make a mistake, like we have to let them make a mistake. Like how are they going to learn to be a leader?
Right.
You never give them the chance, you know? And I think that just comes all down to like giving them respect, like, and making them feel like they're the greatest man in the world, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's also important to, like, when we say, like, letting him lead, it doesn't mean, like, we can't make decisions together. Like, you can let your husband lead and still talk about, like, okay, how are we going to handle this situation, right? So it doesn't mean, like, your opinions don't matter.
Yeah.
You have nothing to say, like, you know, I'm the man, I'm going to make the decisions around here.
Yeah.
I think you can still make decisions together, but just let him take the lead.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's like, don't take everything from him and you
Right.
just make all the decisions. It's like y'all talk about it and let him make the final decision,
Right.
you know?
Or like give him confidence too.
Yeah.
Because if he's not feeling confident because you're always like, I don't know how to say this without being mean. In some marriages, the woman's more intelligent than the man. Like just intelligent in ways of like just being more
Financial,
smart.
things like
Like
that.
just being more book smart, knowing more about stuff than the man. It just happens. Y'all
Yeah.
connected in other ways. And so sometimes a woman can make the man feel unconfident about it by saying like, well, you dumb.
Making him feel stupid.
Like making him feel stupid
Yeah.
or dumb and like making him feel like you don't know anything. I know
Yeah.
everything.
Right.
And then like that can cause your man to come like down, and then you try to like control him, and it's just
Right.
not going to work.
Yeah.
Like in the situation like that, I feel like what you said, communicate, talk. Both of y'all come together and speak about the decision making, and then eventually give him the confidence to be the ones to be like, you know what, from everything we spoke, I think this is what we're gonna do
Yeah.
as a family. And then be like, okay, yes, babe, what you say we're gonna do. And then that way, if something does happen and it goes wrong, y'all talked about it before.
Yeah.
You know, like you still have to communicate, and like, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes I see women who make their men feel like they're dumb. And they're
And
smarter.
then wonder why they don't want to say nothing. Like when they ask them, or they want them to be vulnerable, but it's like, but you're not being that safe place for them to even be vulnerable with you, because they already think that if they tell you this, they're going to think I'm stupid, or they think
Yeah.
I'm a dumb or something, you know? Yeah, I think we need to build them up with our words And I think that will naturally keep the spark alive in your marriage, you know?
Yeah.
If you're doing that for your husband, building him up, I feel like he's gonna love you more, or like maybe even be more affectionate with you because you're building him up and you're making him feel so good.
Being
Like
kind to
he
him.
wants to show you that love too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think men want to feel like they're stronger than you. They want to feel like they're smarter than you in a way, but then, you know, sometimes they're not. But I feel like they want to feel
Like, okay,
that
babe. All right.
just to make them feel, because I feel like men strive on confidence. Like if there's a guy who's confident and he's working out and he's doing this, he's just gonna feel like he's $100, you know, like he's
Yeah.
all this.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you let your man feel like that, then he's gonna be like, oh, my wife, she wants me,
Yeah.
she loves me,
Yeah.
oh, she thinks
They
I'm just
wanna feel
everything,
like
you know,
he
be like,
wanted.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
As lame as that sounds,
Also,
that
no, it
sounds so
doesn't.
lame,
I
but as
think
lame as that
it's
sounds,
true,
it's
though.
true.
It is true.
I would say, like, you know how we want to hear, like,
We're beautiful.
You look good. You're beautiful. Those things. Like, make sure you're telling your husband,
That's
like,
true.
oh, you look so handsome, or you know, especially when my husband gets a haircut, I'm like, oh, like he got a haircut recently, and I was like, oh my goodness, you know, like to be honest, like I want him to feel
Yeah.
like I value him. I think he's handsome, just as much as I want him to tell me I look beautiful. You
Yeah.
know. Because it sucks if I dress up and he does, and, you know, he
You're
don't say
like-
nothing. But like, I did my makeup today.
Yeah.
Say something, you know. And I know like he likes it when I like, you know, give him compliments. Like he gets all chiflado, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's important. They want
Yeah.
to feel wanted.
Just like
Yeah.
we said, like you're one, you're not enemies. So don't not give the compliment because
Yeah.
you don't want them to. Oh, they're gonna think so highly of themselves. So that you should be the one to make them think so highly of themselves. You know,
Right.
not that they're like not humble or anything, but
Yeah, because in a way, you're giving them just by giving them compliments. You're giving them that confidence.
Also, don't be like the nagging wife, because there's some guys who, I don't know why we just started talking about guys, but like that, but like there's some guys who, you know, they like to look nice, they like to dress nice, and then they have the nagging wife that's like, who are you looking good for? Why are you dressing like that to go to work? Like, why you know, all this stuff, and it's like, you like to do your makeup before you go to work? Who are you looking good for, right? You
Yeah.
just want to feel confident.
Yeah.
So like, let him feel confident,
Right.
and tell him he looks good, so that he could be like, oh, you know, let him know what you like, so
Yeah.
then he could be like, I'm gonna do this because so and so,
Yeah.
you know, because she likes it,
Yeah.
not so and so, but she likes it. But yeah, I don't know. Just came to my mind right now.
yeah, and that's all true. Like
Yeah.
we should build our husbands up. Husbands should build their wives up and be gentle and loving with their wives. Wives need to respect and build their husbands up with their words.
Right.
Like because I feel like men can be hard on themselves, but they don't let us know. Like, they probably comparing themselves with other dads and husbands and men in the world, so they don't need us to go and be like,
Right.
oh, you see what they're doing? Like we should be like them, and we should, you know, it's like they're already hard on themselves. Like speak loving, and we shouldn't be comparing our husbands with another husband. You know, like you don't know what that man is doing or has done in the past. Like, you know, so I feel like we need to stop comparing and build our husbands up with our words, with our affection, give them the respect that God has called us to give them. You know,
Right.
I feel like that is on the woman's part is what we can do to keep the spark up with your husband, and also remember that they are priority to the kids, to the toddler, to the whatever stage it is. We need to, if we're going to prioritize God first, we need to make that time with God every single day. If that's in the morning, that night, whatever, make sure you have your time with God. And then we also need to prioritize our husbands, whether that's whenever you can get a date night in. I feel like if you can get a babysitter for the baby or whatever, toddler, kid, whatever, like I think date night, you need to prioritize that, even if it's once a month. Like for us, like we didn't have a bunch of babysitters just on speed dial, like
Right.
waiting for us, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like we could only do once a month, maybe, you know. But it's like, but still, we still need to make sure
Right.
you even schedule that if that's all you can do.
One thing also that I just thought about right now when you were saying like we don't have the babysitter stuff, there's just this one simple thing you can do, and it's hug each other for 20 seconds. Like literally, like just be in each other's arms for 20 seconds. It releases endorphins. And so
20 seconds.
just
believe
20
it.
seconds, just be in their arms and just be like in their arms hugging, just hugging, and then
Right.
for 20 seconds or even longer, whatever, 20, just be, not like just like quick hugging, yeah, like
Right.
20, and
Hold
just
on to
I'm
it.
like, I don't
like
think
just
I've
being
ever had a
around each
20
other or whatever, it releases endorphins. It just makes you feel better.
Yeah.
And that just connects you in a way that you're like like I
Yeah.
have somewhere I can go to, or someone that I can just
Yeah.
like be safe around. Like those 20 seconds, I'm telling you.
I'm gonna try that today.
I believe it.
20 seconds.
We
come
do
on.
that sometimes too. Like
Aw.
like I don't want to count it. I don't count it. I think he does, because then he lets go, and I'm like, okay.
was
And then we're
19.
like, okay.
I need to do that with the girls too when they come.
Yeah,
over.
that's what I was
Like,
thinking.
come here.
And I think like if you can't do a date night, at least after the kid is asleep, or if this is gonna be a priority, like you're gonna have to sacrifice sleep, sacrifice something, but you're making that.
Yeah.
But like that's the goal, like to keep the spark alive with your husband. Like if that's a priority, you're gonna do what you gotta do for that to hit that goal.
Yeah.
So it's like God, husband, when the kid is asleep, you're gonna wake up, you're gonna have to wake up early, or both of y'all, or even
Just
or after the
sacrifice.
kid is asleep, you're gonna stay up late and you're gonna talk with your husband and y'all
Do
just
something.
talk.
Like have ice cream together, watch
Yeah,
TV.
like that's a time, even if it's 20 minutes,
Yeah.
that's some you time that you get to talk to him and see what's on their plate. What do they have on their
Yeah.
plate? What's going on at work? How are they feeling emotionally, physically, mentally, and also you. They can also get a glimpse of what you're going through on the daily. Like, how are you feeling? How are you feeling about being a mom? Like, like what stage of motherhood are you in right now? How's your headspace? How are you feeling mentally? How's your
Yeah.
body feeling? Have you been, have you been getting
Have you
some?
been drinking your
I was about to
water?
say, have you been drinking your water?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's like
I think that is important. Yeah.
like we want all these things, but it's like,
What are we doing about it?
yeah. And if it's a priority, just like people like, oh, you want to lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds. Like, okay, you can want that all day, but until you get up and do something about it, it's not going to happen.
Sorry.
You know?
Okay. Like everybody has the same 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, and it's
these
like
how
we
you
can
use it.
complain about, oh, they have more free time than us, but it's like, okay, but that's not. I guess I've realized that for myself. It's like I want to spend time with God every morning. I want to start working out, right? I want to start eating better. It's like, but if I'm just doing the same thing every day, like when is that going to happen? Like it's not going to
That's
just
true.
magically happen.
No, you're
One day
right.
I have to start going to bed early. I need to start getting this much sleep, and I need to start waking up at a certain hour if I want this much time with God in the morning. And then I need to schedule, what am I going to eat? It's like it's not just going to happen. I have to make these plans, and I'm going to have to sacrifice my sleep that I want. It's like cuz right now I'm just sacrificing those things for sleep, but it's like I want them. If I wanted them so bad, then I would be sacrificing my sleep to get those things that I want.
You know what you're reminding me? When we were on the phones late at night talking to these boys, to our husbands now, we were sacrificing our sleep for them.
That's true.
Yeah.
We were over here, are you asleep yet? No. Like,
It's fine.
It's all
Yeah.
like, oh, it's
Hey,
like,
me and Ray used to fall asleep on the phone. We'd be talking and I'll fall asleep.
And be up bright and early.
Yeah.
If we at the beginning we wanted it so bad, like we wanted to be in that relationship
Yeah.
so bad, we put everything was
Yeah.
then we can do it again. Like
Yeah.
keep it. Like it's in a healthy
that's
boundary,
a good
though.
like
In
to
a
keep
healthy
the spark
boundary.
alive.
Yeah,
That's
like
actually good. Yeah.
Yeah.
still give each other the time that y'all are giving each other then. Like just because we have the kids, just because we have our jobs.
Like date each other, right?
Yes.
Like when you were first met, you were making each other a priority, talking all the time, texting all the time. I mean, we might
You're
not text-
remembering
yeah.
what they like, because they're like, oh yeah, she said she liked this.
Yeah.
When you were buying that Valentine's Day gift, you knew what kind of chocolate she liked. So I'm saying, like, you still have to be doing that.
Right.
Yes, that's true.
Just keep doing it.
That's
Just
one
keep
thing
doing
I think Ray is good at, like listening to little things. And I know, I'll be like, oh, I really want this purse. I really like it.
Oh, she be doing it on purpose.
Because I already know I'm going to come home, it's going to be right there. Not the purse, but, you know, like other things, little things I ask for. But I just need to get better at it. He's always been good at, he's like, what is it called? He likes to give gifts and stuff.
He's
like
a giver.
that. Yeah.
He likes to give.
And me, I don't know.
You're a receiver.
I sure am.
Oh, how did you know?
I forgot all about this.
I only mentioned it 10 times last week.
And then she takes it off her little
Check.
Yeah.
What's the next thing, though?
No.
She's on scrolling, like with the brightness all the way up, like.
Or how is it whenever you get your husband's phone and you start saying, like,
Oh,
yeah, like
yes.
new ring or whatever, you know?
Make his algorithm pop up.
You're like
That's funny.
pink purse from Coach with
Yeah.
the like be real specific. Be like yeah, no, but no, you're right. Like we should prioritize each other. Same like he should prioritize you and you should prioritize him
Right.
in order for it to go. And it's not easy. It is not easy. Trust me. Like just yesterday, the kids were like, "We miss grandma. We haven't been to grandma's house. We want to sleep over." And I had asked him, and he was like, "That's cool with me." But then I haven't asked you yet. Then this morning, like, "Did you ask grandma?" And I was like, "I haven't asked you yet because I don't know. I just don't feel like asking." But then he's all like, "Yeah, we can do that." Like, you know,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yeah, you're right. We haven't hung out together in a long time. We don't have nothing tomorrow but church, you know."
Mm-hmm.
And then I should take advantage of that.
Take action.
Take action.
Like go ahead and schedule that.
Yeah, it's hard, but
Yeah, it's hard, and you're not going to be perfect every day, you know. But we can, when we fall off, we just got to get back on it. And I feel like that's going to happen all of our lives. You know, like things are going to happen. We're going to fall off. We're going to get kind of
Yeah,
distant.
you're not always going to be, like, united.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just like our relationship with God, sometimes we're like reading, we're in
yeah,
it, we're on fire, and then that fire starts dimming. Something happens, we get off, but we got to just get back on. Like that's the important part, you know. As long as you don't stay getting further and further away from Him, from God, and just like we don't want to get further and further away from our husbands either, you know, like because that can happen where it's like, oh, the days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and you don't even know your husband anymore, you know, and you can do something about that like right now.
Yeah.
Like, I think I had a good idea with after the kid goes to sleep, you just spend like 20, 30 minutes. I'm like, that's a good idea. Like, you ain't even got to leave.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't even have to schedule a babysitter.
Or you could just buy like
Have some ice cream together and watch a movie.
I was just saying, like, hide some food snacks. When you go to Walmart, buy some things y'all like, and then hide it, and then pull it out. I've done that before. I've been like,
Me
that's
too.
candy.
Twix
I know
or
you
Snickers.
eat ice cream for sure.
I love ice
Yeah.
Usually, like, Ray's go-to is, like, a bowl of cereal at night.
Really?
And, yeah, he likes to get
That's what
cereal.
Noel likes, but then he's complaining that at night. I'm like, bro,
Probably because
All
of
that
you
it.
ate like
sugar.
2 bowls of cereal.
That's all that sugar.
And then I like those Oreo puffs. They're like Oreo puffs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're so good.
Y'all like
I love
love
them.
those things.
Yeah, I think I.
Have you
It's
seen
me
them?
more than
No.
Ray.
Oreo
They're like
puffs?
To me, they
kinda
remind
like
me
a
of like an Oreo cupcake.
cake, yeah. But it's like squishy, but it's like a Oreo, right? Or it's like a top and a bottom, and then the inside is that filling,
Right.
but it's soft.
Let me look it up so I can show you.
I didn't buy
Oreo.
that
puffs.
'cause
I like the golden Oreos and the Oreo thins.
Oreo thins are good. I like those. I can eat them like chips.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm not even a chip person, but I can eat them like chips. But yeah.
Why is it not coming up?
That's a good idea. I feel like I like that because sometimes when the kids are asleep and we're watching, like right now we're watching Love is Blind, we'll be watching it together and then we're like, okay, let's go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know? But we had our little time.
Yeah.
But for us, the way we spend a lot of, I think that we've been doing a lot lately is whenever he,
I found it.
in the morning when we're getting ready for work, like especially like on Thursday mornings, where we had group the night before because we come home, go to bed, and in the mornings we're getting ready for work. Like we talk about what we learned,
Yeah.
or like what happened in group.
Yeah, that's good.
Like we talk about that, or then I'll be like, okay, today we have this snack going on, and that's how we connect.
Yeah.
And then he goes to work, and then
I know that's I've been doing something similar. Like I know what time Noah has to leave the house, so I'll try to get up early so I can just talk to him for a little bit. You know, like while the kids are still asleep. And I feel like my day starts off pretty a little better than it would if I was just laying in bed until
Right.
Whatever time you got.
So we got to talk. We got to get on the right track with what does he have going on? What do I have? And it's like, okay, like, give a kiss and a hug and 20-second hug. I'll start incorporating those in the morning.
I think it's 20 seconds. Let me look it up. Maybe 30.
Don't be giving me too long of a hug.
Look,
Oh,
Cakesters.
Cakesters. If anyone wants to
If
try them,
Oreo would like to sponsor us. Cakesters.
we love Cakesters and Oreos.
Thin, fat,
Thins,
double stuff.
Double
all of
stuff,
them.
the
All of
golden
them.
ones.
I don't know, Priscilla, but I see this Oreo cake.
Oh,
I'll send you
I've
the
made
recipe.
it. Oh, no. It's a recipe.
It's like Oreo poke cake. Anyways, sidetrack.
So, yeah.
Wait, I think it's release dopamine. Not, what did I say it was?
I think you said that.
Did I say dopamine?
I think you did.
Yeah, it says a 20-second hug can
Okay.
improve your mood, reduce stress, and strengthen your relationships. Hugs can also help you feel more connected and bonded together.
All right, come here.
It
I know, but
releases
start hugging everybody for
oxytocin.
20 seconds.
Yeah, it even improves your immunity. So there you go. You feeling like you're about to get the flu? Hug your man, and then you give it to him. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Breathe out on him.
Breathe out on him and give it to him.
What are you doing?
But yeah,
All right.
so let's make our marriages, our relationships a priority. I bet you if we just give a little bit more than what we're doing now, everything else will start to, and also in hope that the other person is trying to give more too, right? Because sometimes we're the
Yeah.
ones trying to give more, and then they're not in that space yet
Yeah.
where they're trying to give more. And I think at that point, let's just pray about it. Like pray, like
Pray and continue to do those things that are going to help him maybe open up or feel comfortable or feel loved. Even if you're not feeling it in return, just do those things while you're praying.
yeah,
Yeah, and I also think it's important if you're not attending church, then you need to start. Like, even if it's you by yourself, you and your kid, hopefully your husband will follow, or hopefully he agrees to go. But I think like you need to, like, a church. God is the answer to all of our questions, all our problems, all our struggles. He is the truth. Jesus is real, was an actual person that lived on this earth with us. He died. He was raised. He died for our sins. Like, he's real. Like, follow him. I feel like you need to go to church, find a Bible preaching church, a Bible-based church, a gospel spreading church, and I think that's make sure like that's the number one thing that you're doing, and raise your family in that church. Take your husband, wife, y'all need to go to church, and then seek the Lord, seek Jesus, even if it's just you and your husband's not following Jesus. You follow Jesus. And then I pray that the husband also follows Jesus, because once you both follow Jesus, you will both meet at the top, and that's when your marriage will flourish.
Amen.
Amen.
yeah. In that process, if you're going to church by yourself and you're doing things alone and your spouse is not trying to come with you, I feel like just pray for him. Like, no matter how many things he's thrown your way, or things he says, or even if he talks you down for going to church, pray for him. Like, pray for God to be in, like, pray for God to come into his heart, to change his mind. Pray for him to just make him feel better about you. Like, simple prayers, just like, please let him stop judging me for going to church. Like, things like that. Just pray, pray. And you'll start seeing his heart mend, and things happen, and then you'll all come together. I know it's hard whenever you have someone who's not trying to go the same way you are, or who's not trying to join you when it comes to following Jesus and going to church and being part of a church, just because they've been hurt before from churches, or hurt before from people who they consider to be people going to church. I just pray about it, because the more God wants us to pray for our spouses. Like, we're meant to be that person for our spouse to get to Jesus sometimes. Like, we have to be the communicator for them sometimes, and just keep doing that.
Yeah.
And even if your spouse is going to church with you right now, still pray for them. Pray for them that that they do well at work. Pray for them to have a good day. Pray for them that they feel confident in their marriage. Pray for them that they feel that they become the best parent that they are meant to be. Because if we're not praying for them, then like we're not doing nothing for them.
And
We're
I pray
not.
that, and I think you should also pray for them. Pray for God to make them into the godly leader and husband that He created them to be.
Yeah.
And also, while you're praying for them, if they're not going to church, while you're praying for them, don't put them down for not going to church. And don't try to shove anything down their throats or don't try to change them. You cannot change them. Like, you can't save them. You can't change them. You can only pray for them
Yeah.
and plant a seed here and there.
I think little by little they're gonna see a difference in you, and they're gonna see like you're
Yes.
changing or you're reacting differently or you're not reacting to certain things, and they're gonna see that. And I think that's gonna
Yeah.
be the seed planted. They're like, man, she's changing.
Yeah.
Let me go try this church out
Yeah.
and see what it's all about. You know.
You be a light and you be the witness for Jesus, for God in their lives. And then, you know, like you said, that they're going to be like, dang, like, let me go check it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah.
true. That's a good one. Yeah. Like, don't throw anything back at them. Just you be the light. Like you said, you be the person Jesus wants you to be at that moment. And then things will change. I promise.
In that order.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.